The night was quiet in the city, but inside the corner booth of a dimly lit diner, a man sat alone with a suit far too sharp for the place and a heart far too heavy for any company. His name was Daniel Cross, one of the wealthiest CEOs in the country, a man whose empire stretched across continents. He had money, power, and influence, but not love, not family, not even a single soul to call his own. Every morning, he stared into a mirror that reflected nothing but loneliness hidden beneath expensive suits and calculated smiles. And then, on a cold November evening, life decided to interrupt him in the most unexpected way. A small girl, no older than 7, stood by his booth. She wore a faded pink dress, her shoes scuffed, her hair tied into a messy ponytail as though someone had rushed that morning. Her eyes, wide and innocent, held a strange mix of hope and fear. In her tiny trembling hands, she clutched a folded bill, crumpled, old, worn from too much use. With a hesitant voice that cut straight into his guarded chest, she whispered, "Here's $50, sir. I just need a dad for one day." The diner fell silent in his mind. Her words rang louder than the clinking of dishes, louder than the rain tapping the windows, louder than the heartbeat he suddenly felt after years of numbness. He stared at her, unable to breathe, unable to move, as though the universe itself had chosen this moment to rip open his soul. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in the miracles that come when strangers cross paths, then please take a second to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories that remind us of the beauty of humanity. Daniel tried to speak, but his throat tightened. He hadn't been called anything close to "Dad" in decades, not since he walked away from the family he never built, from the relationships he buried under ambition. He studied the girl's tiny hands shaking as they held out the money. $50. To him, it was nothing. To her, it was everything. She explained, in the halting, hurried way children do when they fear rejection, that tomorrow was her school's family day. Every child was supposed to bring a parent. Her mother worked double shifts and couldn't come. She didn't have a father, not one she knew of, and the thought of standing alone in that crowded hall terrified her. So she had saved coins and crumpled bills from helping neighbors, from little errands, until she had enough to hire someone. She didn't want to be pitied. She wanted to belong. Daniel's chest ached. He wanted to push away, to tell her she had the wrong man, that he wasn't capable of love, of family, of fatherhood. But the truth was, behind his $1,000,000 smile, Daniel had always wondered what it might feel like to be a father. And in that little girl's desperate eyes, he saw a reflection of his own emptiness. He took the $50, not for the money, but because he knew rejecting it would crush her pride. "Deal," he said softly, though inside, his heart was trembling as if he were the child. The next morning, Daniel did something he hadn't done in years. He set aside his phone, canceled his meetings, and showed up, not as a CEO, not as a man chased by ambition, but as Dad. He picked up a small bouquet of flowers on the way, unsure if it was too much, but her smile when she saw him was worth more than every business deal he had ever signed. The school gymnasium was decorated with banners, balloons, and laughter. Children ran into the arms of their mothers and fathers, families clustered together. And then there was her, this little girl whose name he learned was Lily, holding his hand tightly, beaming as though she had just won the world's greatest prize. She introduced him to teachers, to friends, to anyone who would listen. "This is my dad. Isn't he great?" And Daniel, for the first time in his life, felt the warmth of a role he never thought he deserved. Yet beneath the joy was a quiet sorrow. He saw the way Lily's real story peeked through her smiles, the worn-out backpack, the way she scanned the room too quickly, the flicker of sadness when other kids hugged their parents. He realized she wasn't just asking for a father for a day. She was asking for love, stability, protection, the things she had been denied by life's cruel hand. After the event, Lily insisted they stop for ice cream. She giggled when Daniel got sprinkles on his nose, laughed so hard she snorted, and for a moment, Daniel wasn't a CEO at all. He was simply a man who had discovered the sound of a child's laughter could heal cracks no money ever could. But when he walked her home, his heart broke again. The small apartment was dim, worn, but clean. Her mother clearly worked herself to the bone to keep it. Lily's mother wasn't home yet. A note left on the table said she was pulling an extra shift. Lily hugged him tightly at the door, whispering, "Thank you for being my dad today. It was the best day of my life." Daniel couldn't sleep that night. For years, he had lived in mansions filled with silence, surrounded by walls built of glass and marble but devoid of laughter. And now, after one day, his heart ached with the realization that maybe wealth had blinded him to the only treasure worth chasing, love. The next week, Daniel visited again. And again. Not as a hired father, but as someone who couldn't let go. He met Lily's mother, a woman weary from exhaustion but fiercely protective. At first, she was skeptical. Why would a stranger take interest? But when she saw Lily's happiness, when she saw Daniel helping with homework, cheering at soccer games, fixing a broken chair in their kitchen, her suspicion softened. Slowly, painfully, trust began to grow. Daniel found himself changing. He laughed more, worked less, learned to cook pancakes on Saturday mornings even if he burned the first 3. Lily's drawings began to appear on his office desk, scribbled notes like, "Best Dad," taped where shareholders once demanded attention. For the first time in his life, Daniel understood that success wasn't counted in billions, but in moments, a bedtime story, a whispered prayer, a child's arms around your neck. Still, he wrestled with guilt. He wasn't her real father. He was just a man who stumbled into their lives. But when Lily looked up at him with eyes shining with a trust so pure it broke him, he realized fatherhood wasn't defined by blood. It was defined by showing up, by choosing love, by protecting and guiding when no one else would. Months passed, and Daniel's loneliness began to fade. He became part of their family in small but profound ways. And one spring afternoon, as the sun spilled golden light through the park where they picnicked, Lily tugged his sleeve and whispered, "You don't have to go back to being just for a day. You can stay my dad forever, if you want." Tears filled Daniel's eyes, the kind of tears no boardroom could ever bring. In that moment, the man who once thought love was out of reach understood he had been given a second chance, not just at fatherhood, but at life itself. He embraced Lily tightly, whispering back, "Forever sounds perfect." And so, the millionaire CEO who once had everything but love discovered that a little girl with $50 and a broken heart could give him something money could never buy, a family. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness and love can change lives in ways we cannot measure, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue creating stories that inspire and remind the world that love is the greatest gift we can give.